Good evening. Welcome to the 42nd episode of Rachel Pilcher Writing Workshops Live. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I just got back home about 30 minutes ago from Writers in the Field. If you've watched previous episodes, you know I've been plugging that pretty hard. And I really enjoyed it. I'd like to thank Tex Thompson and all of the Word Writers group for inviting me to come and participate. I really enjoyed the two sessions that I taught today, and it really didn't feel like teaching. It was more like having a conversation about writing and publishing, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. So thank you again. I do have one announcement, and it's concerning Panther City Review issue 4. I know some of y'all are very eager to find out when we're actually going to be doing the launch for that, and it's coming. I'm still hammering out the details on the exact date and location. I think I have a location that it's going to be a little different than what we've done before at the Funky Town location, but I think it's going to be really exciting. I can tell you that I am looking at mid-November, way before Thanksgiving, mostly because I don't want to deal with a launch during Thanksgiving break, and I really would like to give the opportunity for people to come out, maybe get a couple of Christmas gifts for people, because holiday shopping way ahead of Thanksgiving is always a good thing. And you know, if you don't do Christmas, there are all kinds of other things you can do and get for gift buying, including Panther City Review issue 4. So I should have that information down pat by next Sunday. So I'm really hoping to be able to have some kind of great and wonderful announcement about that. I see Monakia join. Hi, Monakia. Thank you for joining tonight. As I said, I was doing Writers in the Field today, and I did it yesterday as well. If you don't get the chance, well, it's over. So you're not going to get the chance to do it this year. But they do already have the dates scheduled for next year. I believe the back of the program said the 10th and the 11th of October 2020. But you might want to check that out and verify it. I don't have the program right now, but I know that I think it's the second week of October. I hope I get invited back again because it was so much fun. I got a really cool journal out of it. Many of you probably saw the picture that I posted on Facebook and on Instagram. So you know, there are all kinds of fun things to do there. You know, I got to shoot a bow and arrow. Well, I shot the arrow. I did archery in college, and it was so much fun to get out there, and it's kind of like riding a bike. It's like once you you know, pull the string on the bow, you know how to do it. So but there's all kinds of fun stuff out there. So definitely make it in a plan. Next October, Writers in the Field, check it out. writersinthefield.com, I think, is their website. So tonight we are going to do session number 3 in the NaNo Prep 101 Handbook. It is called, in the handbook, it's called Construct a Detailed Plot or Outline. For those of you pantsers out there, this is going to freak you out. And I don't know if it necessarily freaks you out. I know that a lot of people, though, just plan to just write by the seat of their pants. That's why they call them pantsers. But I said it before, I think last episode, I really have to work off of an outline because it keeps me organized. It makes me accountable for what I am going to be writing, and it helps me make sure that, you know, if I don't feel like writing that section that I've been working on, if I'm stuck, then I already know where I can go for that next section. So I'm going to tell you, though, so I find that, you know, these pages, there's a lot of stuff in here. They have 5 different methods of outlining or plotting to get ready for NaNoWriMo. And, you know, basically it's not like you're supposed to do all of them, but it's pages 19 through 36 in the handbook. that's a lot of pages. And as I was going through and taking my notes, I was like, well, I can't really do detailed notes on each one of these. I would be talking for about 30 minutes just on plotting, which it's easy to do. So what I plan on doing for this episode is I'm just going to go through and really briefly describe each one of the methods. There's a couple of them I'm going to show, the backwards video version of it. If you don't have the NaNo Prep 101 handbook, you can find that on NaNoWriMo.org. That's NaNoWriMo.org. And you'll have to sign up for an account, but it's super easy. It doesn't cost anything. But you can sign up for an account and you go to the resources page. And they have, let me make sure. Yes, you go to the resources page and it will give you this 52-page download for free that you can start plotting out your National Novel Writing Month novel and get your 50,000 words. So their method number 1. So I'm going to start with method number 1. They have a plotting quiz on that's linked into the handbook that you can take a quiz and it'll direct you to which type of method might be the best for you. So I highly suggest before you even try to do any of these methods, maybe try doing that, because I took the quiz and I can tell you it was 100% accurate as to which one I needed to do. And mine is it's a mix of number 1 and one of the other ones. So number 1 is it's called Stay Loose, Jot, Bend, and Pants. So what that means is you jot down your ideas, you get some kind of place for them to go, and your ideas are going to be the different scenes that are within that particular thing. So it's going to be, scene ideas. And then you can put them on index cards or you can arrange them in some kind of a file. And then you organize your scenes by what would be the best for the beginning, the middle, and the end. So it's kind of a 3-act structure that you figure where all of your ideas can go. And then if you do them on index cards, then you can rearrange the index cards, or if you did it in a lot of times I'll use a word table and I will just rearrange them where they need to go in the word table so that they can have a logical place within the story and the way I like it. And the great thing about that is that, yes, you are developing a structure as to how you're going to do your beginning, your middle, and your end. And you are getting ideas of what you would like to see, and maybe even some dialogue. I always have dialogue tags that are within, I would like a character to say this. Sometimes I don't even know which character is going to say it, but it just sounds like something that would be really cool for that particular scene. And then you arrange them, and you're able to then, when you get stuck, you can go, okay, this is what I was working on, this is where this is, what do I have next? And that's how you do kind of a very loose outline. And it's not as structured. And you can always say, well, I really liked this here, but I'm going to take it and put it down here. And that could just be within Act 1. Or, this is part of the rising action part of it, but I'm not really liking that where it is. So I think I can put that in there, or just take it all out and say, I don't like that at all. I'm going to write this in here. So it makes it really easy to get your ideas down and to be able to have a structure so that you can plan what you're going to be writing. And it's more, it's kind of weird because I am kind of a pantser, but I like to have a basic idea of what I'm doing. So the second method is kind of the basics kind of idea, and this is on page 21. So you can see 19 covered 2 pages. Page 21 is it's you sort your ideas by oh, I got so lost looking at my thing here because it's not what I think it is. You sort your ideas by the Wow. You sort them in the logical way that they would go. Oh, here it is. Wow. I was totally wrong on that. So method 2 is actually starts at the bottom of page 30 or 23. Oh, my dyslexia. I could tell that I have been out in the daylight, in the sun and the wind, because I'm just kind of like really out of it today. So I apologize. Method 2 is the plot roller coaster. So it's the basic rising, falling action. And I'm going to kind of, you can see what it looks like right there. Oh, and you can see my lights. Now you can see my lighting gear right there. See, I used paper lanterns. But, you know, it does the basic, you know, you set up on one end and then the rising action happens. And then at the top, it's like the roller coaster. It's the climax. It's where everything gets all exciting just before you go, oh, and then it drops down to the falling action. And then there's a resolution. Now, the thing with with this kind of plotting is that you can have that happen in over a couple of chapters. You can have that happen, you know, just like the plot for one chapter. There are some, you know, you notice that, you know, you'll have a chapter and at the end there's, you know, this like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen next? So that's kind of, you know, leading you on to that. So they're calling it the plot roller coaster. And you do have, they do have a blank one that you can fill in your own information in if you choose to do that. I just remember that from school. I think it was elementary school where they started showing us the, you know, this is how you do the rising action and the climax and the falling action, and then you had to, you know, get a story and plot it out and see where all of that goes. You know, so the setup, it's where you convey the where you convey who the characters are, the setting, all of that, and then you have the inciting incident that causes your protagonist to go on the journey that they're about to take. So it's basic hero's journey kind of thing. The rising action is usually that longest middle part of your novel where you know, they're on that journey, they're getting to where they're going to be. You know that something big is going to happen. The climax is that thing that's like, oh, that big thing has happened. And then the falling action is it's very action packed. You know, it's usually like if it's a action adventure book or even a fantasy, a lot of times it's where battles are happening. Sci-fi does this too. There's a lot of them that do it. You know, but this is where there's a lot of action and you're like, oh, what's going to happen next? And then you're questioning what's going to happen at the end of that story. And then the resolution is, you know, that's how the story ends. Your protagonist either succeeds or they don't. And the action of the novel will resolve into, hopefully, a learning experience for someone. Method number 3, they are calling the I Heart Plot, the 9-step plot dot. And the plot dot, I'm going to show you the example of this. It's adapted also from the hero's journey, and it works really well for sci-fi fantasy. It seems like all of the examples that they're using are sci-fi fantasy, and they have a more detailed blog post about it, but let me kind of show you, and it's going to be backwards because it's backwards, but the plot dot. So it's a big circle, and it just goes around to, you know, the ordinary world, the inciting incident, the first plot point, the first pinch point, the midpoint, the second pinch point, the second plot point, and then the final battle, and then it goes to the end. So I mean, and it's you know, it's not one that I would use because my stories don't quite involve that kind of thing, but I don't see why I couldn't, and I probably should try it sometime, just to be a little bit more varied in what I'm doing. So definitely, you know, try it out. If it's not working for you, don't use it. All of these are suggestions, and like I said, there's probably one that's going to work for you better than others. Method 4, sorry. Method 4 is, they're calling more structure, please. And method 4 has a lot of it's on page 31, and they do a color coordinated thing, and it works. Was originally adapted to work for screenplays, so it comes from Save the Cat by Blake Schneider, and I've actually read that book, and it's very useful if you're a screenwriter. And you know, this kind of gives you an idea of how graphically it would work if you were creating something that was visual, so like a screenplay or even a graphic novel, but it can also be used for novels. So the way that they have it, it's very colorful. Show it right there. Very colorful. They have the sections broken down into percentiles as to how much of the percentage of your story should be told in this section. That way, if you know that you have devoted too much time to one particular plot point, you could probably break that down, cut it, you know, make it so that it's much more clear. So I'm not looking. Clear was not the word I'm looking for, but that's the one that came out, so I'm going to use it to make it clear and more descriptive, and just so that it has more cohesion. It's not just some random extra idea, so it makes it clearer. Yeah, clear's the word. And method number 5 is working more in the it's called I Heart Outlining So Much, and it says Caddy-tastic's 3-act, 9-block, 27-chapter outline. So it is like a super duper spreadsheet. And you know, I mean, it is literally they have a video separately to show you how to do this one particular one, and it is a fairly long video to show you how to do it. But if you like having super structure and know exactly where everything is and when everything's going to happen, that might be the one that works for you. So and that they just have a basic spreadsheet on here. The different colors, those are just the different spreadsheets. So like Act 1, the introduction, the inciting incident, the fallout, and then they have for the next section is the reaction, rebel, action, consequence. Then they have pressure, plot twist, and push on to Act 2. So you know, it's extremely detailed. If you like to have an extremely detailed outline, you know, this might be one I try. I don't know. It just seems very detailed. I haven't quite outlined everything that I'm going to be doing for Nano this year, so you know, I may try this. This may be the combination of the 1st and the 5th that's going to be the one for me. So outlining, plotting, 18 minutes worth of discussion on outlining and plotting. There's a lot more to be had. If you go into the workbook and you look at session 3, like I said, it's from page 19 to 36. You can get a lot more information about each one of those methods. And if you have a favorite method that you use, feel free to post it in the comments. I would love to be able to discuss it. I would like to be able to see you justify why that is the best plot outline tool to use. So definitely join us next week. For the discussion will be on building strong worlds. And world building is really hard. I find it extremely difficult myself. And you know, and I don't write worlds that are different than the one I live in. So so I can only imagine for people who write sci-fi, fantasy, supernatural, how much more work is involved in that world building. So next week we're going to talk about building strong worlds. If you missed any of the previous discussion, episode 40 on developing ideas or episode 41 on creating complex characters, you can find them in the video section of Rachel Pilcher Writing Workshop's Facebook page, or I also upload to YouTube, so this video will probably be live on YouTube in about an hour or so. So I have all 41 episodes over on YouTube. You feel free to go on there, subscribe. You'll always catch up on anything that I add that doesn't end up on the Facebook page, because I'm planning on a lot of extra YouTube content soon. So definitely check that out. It's located on the Rachel Pilcher Writing Workshops channel. You just type in Rachel Pilcher Writing Workshops, you'll be able to find it. So if you found this information helpful and you would be so kind as to click on the like button right over there, I'd really appreciate it. And feel free to share this video with anyone who you think might be able to benefit from my words of advice. Thank you for joining me tonight. I look forward to visiting with you next Sunday right here on the Rachel Pilcher Writing Workshops Facebook page for another writerly discussion. Have a good evening. Bye.